Innovation Summit session on Collaborate to Innovate. We're going to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes talking about all things YouTube. My name is Nick Morley. I'm the Managing Director for the EMEA region at IAS. I joined Integral Ad Science in early 2017 to lead the strategic development of our European business. I have a track record in launching and scaling high growth businesses across Europe and over a decade of digital advertising industry experience. I'm really delighted to today be joined by Mattias Spetz, the Managing Director of the European region at Channel Factory. Mattias, would you like to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, about Channel Factory and what your role encompasses?
Thank you, Nick. I'm Mattias Spetz. I'm the MD of Channel Factory's EMEA operations. I also manage our global teams with the goal of educating the industry about brand safety and brand suitability. I'm really glad to join you guys here today and discuss our latest partnership, Channel Science.
Great, thanks, Mattias. So in our session today, we want to highlight the importance of forming strategic partnerships and collaborations across the advertising industry in order to foster and develop innovation. We feel like the landscape is shifting and marketers are facing greater challenges on a global scale. The shifts occurring in the digital landscape have absolutely accelerated in 2020, with advertisers and publishers having to tear up their plans and adapt to a world where digital is the only available channel to connect with consumers. And I think that Mattias and I are a good example of that today. I think we'd both rather be connecting in person rather than over webcam, but we are where we are. So at no time before has it been more apparent than this year, where the political climate, social unrest, and a global pandemic has shown us that the advertising industry needs to adapt very quickly. It needs to forge new partnerships and really work together in order to spark innovation. As Henry Ford once said, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. And no matter how much circumstances change, players in the digital realm really need to innovate quicker than ever before. And a great part of this innovation will be driven by forging beneficial partnerships. I think many of us realize that, we have a goal in mind, but we can't always get there on our own. And often the best way to achieve those aims is to find an effective partner. And, that's very much true at IAS and with our partner Channel Factory. And today it's really all about finding or providing an example of how we partner together as two different organizations so that we could develop innovation and ensure that advertisers can get the most from their YouTube campaigns. So that's a little bit about the session today. I'd like to, maybe Mattias pose a few questions to you. And, to get things going, maybe you could provide us with a little bit of history about Channel Factory, how you grew to become, like ourselves, a trusted YouTube measurement partner.
Of course, I can give you the short version. So Channel Factory was actually started almost 10 years ago about our founder, Tony Chen, when he was in the university. Basically looking into YouTube, how he could help drive views and traffic to YouTubers, like it was called back in the days, and drive more traffic to them. After that, basically, Channel Factory has been developing the platform for the last 10 years, not to just drive traffic, but also be a tool and a platform for brands to understand the YouTube ecosystem and help advertisers to make sense of it all, because it's quite complicated. That also includes brand safety and brand suitability, contextual targeting, and performance. So we were added to the YouTube YTMP partnership only this year as a suitability and contextual targeting partner with our platform that we call ViewIQ. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it, but I think the most of you have, hopefully. which connect to the YouTube API, so we can better understand both from a video and from a channel type, channel level, what goes on these channels from a contextual perspective. So that's basically the short story. We launched here in Europe 2018, so we're quite new in the business in Europe, and also end of 2018 we launched also in APAC. That's where we grew the company to be more global.
Mattias, thanks for giving us the background on how Channel Factory started. Sounds like a really impressive 10 years, and congrats on the growth in Europe since you launched in 2018. We've certainly heard a lot about you in the marketplace over the last few years. So perhaps you could tell everyone how we came to work together and forge this partnership.
We created Channel Science to answer the need from advertisers and agencies. They needed an end-to-end YouTube solution that removed the complexity and provided streamlined brand safety, suitability, and of course improved performance for their campaigns. An end-to-end solution like this doesn't just save time and money for advertisers who are seeking to manage both quality and performance, but it also streamlines the process for their YouTube investments. Both Channel Factory and IAS saw that rather than brands and agencies having to use two separate solutions and companies to verify the quality and performance on YouTube, that by forming an industry-first partnership, the advertiser could have a seamless way to access performance-driven, brand-safe, and of course contextual solution for the YouTube buys. In addition, we heard that advertisers wanted an inclusion list that was dynamic and unique for their advertisers. Not just one list that was one list per agency that could actually end up that the clients were starting to bid against each other. They really wanted to have a unique list with unique brand suitability and brand safety, and of course performance. So in that way, the possibility of bidding against each other, no, I'm just mixing that up again. Sorry, this is not, I got it all wrong here. I'm just doing that first line, last row, and then jumping onto this. In addition, we heard that advertisers wanted an inclusion list that was dynamic and unique to each advertiser. One of the challenges with a static list, particularly if it was being used across an agency group, is that they saw the possibility to end up bidding against each other. And this result is driving up prices. We have been working with the solution together for some time now, and how we could ensure a seamless joint solution for our customers. But we launched the offering in August and have already seen success with our collaboration across many markets.
Thanks, Mattias. So maybe it'd be helpful for our viewers to maybe understand one level deeper in terms of how does the joint solution work and what does it physically provide to customers in terms of value. Maybe you could just unpack that a little bit more so it's really, really clear for all of our viewers today, Mattias.
Okay, I'll try. So first off, IAS pre-screens millions of YouTube channels for brand safety and provides Channel Factory with a weekly report of channels that deemed safe by brands globally. Then Channel Factory creates a Channel Science inclusion list for the customer based on the custom suitability preference and historic campaign data. Then Channel Factory optimizes the list on performance and adjusts the client channel list throughout the campaign, taking into account the weekly updated IAS brand safety reports that's based on them. Additionally, post-campaign reporting is provided by Channel Factory and IAS. With Channel Science, the customer gets a combination of an IAS brand safe channel report alongside IAS verification and brand safety reporting, with Channel Factory's managed and self-serve inclusion list solution. Ultimately, the joint solution brings less complexity and offers time and cost savings. Advertisers now have a single solution to access performance-driven brand safety contextual solution for the YouTube TrueView buys. With Channel Science, advertiser will be able to run YouTube media on inclusion lists optimized for performance and contextual relevance by Channel Factory, based on channels that has been pre-screened for brand safety by IAS. That throughout the campaign, the list will be continually optimized for performance and brand suitability, and the customers receive consistent campaign reporting.
That's great. Thanks, Mattias. It's clear that it's a very compelling solution, very deep, very granular. What's the reception been from European customers so far? We've had this partnership live now for a couple of months. What has that early reaction been like from your customers and our customers here in Europe?
I think the reception in Europe has been really positive. And just in the first week since launch, we had clients from both UK, Sweden, Germany live. So that went really, really fast. We also see that in the next few weeks, we expect to see campaigns running from, I think, Italy and France are really, really close. But I also heard from other markets that there are stuff happening. So I think from that perspective, it's gone really well away. Our customers have seen the joint solution as positive as it brings many benefits, with two market-leading businesses coming together and bringing their individual strength together. Basically, I don't think we have seen many of these strong partnerships from two market leaders like this before. IAS brings industry-leading of brand safety and suitability technology, and Channel Factory's offering expertise in YouTube buying, performance, and contextual alignment. So from those two perspectives, I think the partnership has started out really, really well. Of course, we all want everything to go faster than it does, but in general, I think we got both good information and good positive reaction from both the really, really large clients of this world, from an agency level. So I think the future is looking really bright for us.
That's great. Thanks, Mattias. And I think what's really interesting from our purview is that it was evident that the value that Channel Factory could bring to the table alongside Integral Ad Science was that combined solution was going to be a much more effective solution for our customers. So, it's not always easy to build these partnerships at scale, but, I think it's pretty clear that, both your company and ours were very driven by, the purpose of providing a solution for customers that was going to be the best thing that they can get, even if that meant us having to overcome some of the hurdles of two companies working together in a very, very collaborative way. So I think one question I would have for you, Mattias, is that, clearly there are some really big industry challenges right now. This year we're facing, a global pandemic. Many people have, over the last few years questioned some of the investments that they've made in digital advertising, certainly questioning whether they're safe and suitable for their brand. So it's clear that there are some, macro as well as micro industry challenges in the market. We've come together to try and solve for one of those. Where do you think there are maybe some other industry challenges that you've seen where you think greater industry collaboration and partnership could help solve for those things more effectively? Would love to hear your perspective on that, Mattias.
I think in general, what we've seen the last 5, 6, 7 years in the digital market is it's consolidating, right? And consolidating is actually new partnerships developing. So I think we will see a lot of stuff happening from the publisher side, of course, that we have been seeing going on for a while. I think this will spread into the TV industry, to the broadcast industry, where I believe we will see a lot of consolidation. But of course, also where we need to see efficiency and where we need to see the next development, I think it's going to be in the creative side. The creative side has been, from a digital standpoint, a little bit behind because if we look at the way we buy media for the last 10, 15 years in digital, that has changed a lot. Everything from, RTB to how we handle data, what kind of data we can access. Now we're going into the contextual part of it, and that's making sure that we also are contextual relevant to where we are seen. But of course, now the creativity needs to follow. The creatives need to be as good as the data we're using to buy media. So I think we will see a lot of new partnerships forming, not just between groups where that both handle the creative side, but where we see maybe DSPs or tech companies like ourselves also adding a creative element. How can we help the creative side do better ads for the viewers and doing the right ad for the right viewers? Now we're talking about serving the right ad for the right person based on demo or based on historical data that we have, but now the creative needs to be a part of that as well. So that's where I see a lot of collaboration and things happening in the next couple of years.
That's great. Thanks, Mattias. I think maybe one other major area where I sense we're going to see some collaboration going forward is around the deprecation of third-party cookies. So, there will be growing collaborations, I think, across the industry to address this, and also the changing, the many changes in data privacy regulations. So, lots of different questions arising, and from how to target campaigns on how to measure conversions. I think my personal sense is that we're going to see that contextual targeting will be a highly valuable targeting strategy going forward, and that will evolve and apply in. As we see cookie use decline, perhaps we're going to see this greater use of contextual targeting as an alternative for some of the tactics that people have got used to using over the last couple of years. And my sense is that we're going to see more cross-industry collaborations around that technology. Certainly a good option for brands. But yeah, I sense that will be, that could be another area that we're going to see a lot of collaboration going forward. It's certainly one of the big hot topics and one of the big questions, or let's say the bigger questions that people are grappling with right now. Any thoughts on that yourself?
No, I totally agree. The death of the cookie or all that side, of course, that will change a lot, and it will turn the industry upside down. Hopefully, the contextual targeting piece will be a great solution to handle this, and of course that will be a very very important thing. So I totally agree with you.
So we spent a bit of time there, Mattias, sort of gazing in our crystal ball and thinking about what might be next in the industry and next for partnerships. But why don't we conclude today's chat by maybe you could talk a little bit about what you think is next for Channel Factory. Probably not something you have to gaze too hard into the crystal ball to think about. But what's next for Channel Factory?
No, but I think for us,
looking to develop.
Yeah, but for us, it's pretty clear how we need to grow and where we need to go in the future. We have two things, right? So one is that we need to deep dive even more in YouTube. I think the YouTube ecosystem, we already, even if we've started great, Channel Science is working great, clients are coming to us more and more. I think we only touched the surface. We need to be way more deep into the YouTube data and technology, understanding what creators works, which creator doesn't work, how do we combine that with contextual target and performance, and how we make sure clients are still brand safe and brand suitable. I think it's a huge opportunity to be best in class in YouTube still. Then, of course, the other step for us is to look at content outside of YouTube. So, of course, for us, it's about Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, etc. But we need to make sure that we can offer the same safety, brand suitability, and performance on these platforms as we do on YouTube before we really launch. So that's basically the two things that we are looking into at the moment.
Thanks, Mattias. Thanks for talking us through what's next for Channel Factory. Clearly, you're building a great company with an exciting future, and we're all looking forward to seeing what's from you next. And thanks for joining us today. And slightly strange format for an interview. I know we both prefer to do this in person, so thanks for
Absolutely.
being a good sport and joining us remotely today from Sweden. And thank you to those people this morning who dialed in. We hope that was an enjoyable session, and both Mattias and I hope that you enjoy all the rest of the content that we've got in store for you at our Innovation Summit. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.